Hi, I'm going to talk to you today about my experience with student loans. So, when I was about 16 years old, I got suspended from high school for 45 days because I got a drug test and it showed up positive. So, it was in June of 2004, and then I wasn't allowed back to my high school until October 2004. So I failed 10th grade, and then I somehow was able to go to college for a semester, which I did pretty well. Went back to high school the next spring, just to get a degree, and I didn't really like high school after being at college, and so I just dropped out of high school when I was 17. And so by the time that I dropped out, I was not able to go back for the spring semester because it was too late to enroll in the spring semester. And then that was in 2005. Then by fall 2005, I did enroll in 5 classes, which was supposed to be my my senior year at that point. And I ended up dropping out of college. And this was a community college, and the classes that I was taking were really basic kind of level classes. I mean, they were college level, but they were all one-on-ones. And so I dropped out of college. At that point, basically, my mom kind of lost faith in my ability. She was okay, I'm not paying for you to go to college anymore, because you already blew your chance. And during the time that I wasn't in college or wasn't in school, I was working at different places. So I worked at a lot of different, 7-Eleven and different types of jobs like that, bus girl and diners. So I wasn't in school for a while, and then I eventually realized that I really needed a change. So the following summer, it was summer 2006, I was I need to get away from the area, which is South Jersey, where I grew up. And I was I looked online and I found this college in Albany, New York, called Sage College of Albany. And I'm okay, let me, apply and see if I get in and stuff, because it looks like a good college. It's not a community college, but it's I could get into it. So I actually got in, and I wasn't able to start until January 2007. So technically I was if I would have graduated high school, I was only 1 semester behind, which, one semester behind what I would have been if I would have graduated high school when I was supposed to. So, I went through college, and the first semester, technically he's my ex-stepdad. He paid for my first semester there, because basically I didn't have any other way to get there besides that. Now after that, my mom supported me through college by paying for my rent, but I took out student loans to pay for my tuition, and I was signing those FOSFAs. You just kind of click next, and I didn't feel right signing, because I'm I really need to read this stuff. I don't understand how much money am I actually borrowing, And no one ever sat down with me and explained it to me. And this is someone who, I was a high school dropout, and so I'm signing up for these FOFSAs or whatever, and no adult was explaining it to me, what I was actually doing. And the human brain doesn't finish developing until someone is 27 or 28 years old, when their prefrontal cortex finishes developing. So I should have been treated like an adolescent. I should have had adults, or even people at the college explaining to me what I was actually doing by taking out those loans. But I didn't have anyone explaining to me how much it was going to cost me. I didn't have anyone explaining to me, that the major that I studied, which is called, I got a Bachelor of Science in Creative Studies. And I just went to college because I wanted to learn stuff, and I wanted to learn how to learn, and it was a much different attitude than I had in high school, where I was focused on the people that I was around and not focused on the curriculum. But in college, I was really focused on learning. And I did get pretty good grades. I ended up with like 3.3 GPA. But, you know, regardless of that, I ended up with about $30,000 worth of student loan debt. And my brother, he went to school for civil engineering at a good college. He was able to get, I mean, he had to kind of work at it. He had to go through a couple of different jobs, I think, before he got like a good job that he has now. But he was able to kind of start working at a decent job right after college, after his undergrad. Me, it was just like that degree didn't really mean anything. It didn't really lead to a field. It's like something that you do if you want to go to law school afterwards or get your master's in something afterwards. It was not like an end-all be-all type of undergraduate degree. And there's a lot of undergraduate degrees like that right now, and you need more and more schooling now. So anyway, $30,000 worth of debt, and I graduated in May 2011, and it didn't really hit me until Sally Mae called me and told me, you know, I had to start paying off my student loans. And I'm already thinking like, okay, how am I going to pay for all the stuff that, you know, how am I going to pay for this with all the stuff I'm already paying for? Making, at the time, I think I was making like $9 or $10 an hour, okay? Which really wasn't that much more than I was making at 7-Eleven or Silver Coin Diner or these other, like, you know, basic jobs where you definitely don't need a degree to work there. So I just, after college, I would say that I had 2 jobs where I used my degree. One job, I was a summertime public health inspector for the state of New York, and I just went to like restaurants and pools and like camps and stuff and inspected them. But it was only a summertime job, and then that paid, I think that paid $18.12 an hour. That was a lot. I think that was the most I ever got paid an hour, like in my whole life. And then the other job I had that I needed a degree for was I wrote for a newspaper for over a year. And that job paid $12 an hour. I got paid $12 an hour to write for a newspaper. I did all sorts of like reporting for them. It wasn't like just editing or like working in the back filing papers. I was like reporting and everything like that. $12 an hour, yeah. So, I mean, on one hand, I think like if I would have been really a go-getter, I probably could have found jobs and taken more like state tests and just like put myself out there more. But really, like, there was never, it's a lot of the jobs now with the state testing that like for getting a state job or a city job or whatever, you have to have, now it's getting like really specific about the degree that you need to have. Like, okay, you need to have a master's in, you know, social work, or you need to have a master's in whatever, you know, specific. It's got to be a more specific field. Creative studies usually, or general studies majors generally don't cut it. So anyway, here it is, summer 2018. My loans are finally paid off. And the person that helped me pay off my loans was my husband. And my husband went to school for 6 years. And he has student loan debt still, a lot. And, well, I should say we have student loan debt because I look at his debt as my debt. It really is. He helped me pay off mine. I'm going to help him pay off his until I have my first child. Right now, so he hasn't been in school since 2014, fall of 2014. He hasn't been in school. He currently is making way more money than he's ever made in his whole entire life. About like, probably I would say like 3 times as much money as the most he's ever made before using his credentials, which is he has a EMT certification. And he was going to school to become a paramedic. He makes more money than what most paramedics make, I would think. And he is doing something that does not require a college degree. And he is doing something that is the most in-demand job in the country. And it is something that everyone needs in this country to basically, pretty much, normal people need this to survive. And because you need gas in your car, and you need food, and you need medical things and medical treatment, and he's a truck driver. And so that job does not require a college degree. So there is a generation out there of baby boomers that think that you have to go to college, and it is not like what it used to be. If you want to go to college nowadays, for the most part, you have to get a master's degree after you get your bachelor's. You could go for a specialized thing, a really specialized undergrad thing. Maybe you could do well. But, you know, a lot of people our age, I'm 30 years old, my husband's 29, people like, we're millennials. So a lot of us have found jobs doing a lot of other types of things that don't require a college degree. So if you are thinking about going to college and you're not sure yet, maybe you're like, you know, in high school in your senior or junior year or something like that, do not even think about going to college if you are not 100% sure what you're going to go to, what subject you're going to do, and, you know, what degree you're going to get, and what you're going to do with that afterwards. You need to make sure that your degree that you're getting is going to work for the career that you want to have. Because chances are, you know, you may not be 100% sure that that degree will lead to that job. You need to figure out how competitive is your field. And, you know, if you're a woman, you need to think of this. You need to think, when I'm 30 years old, what do I want to be doing? Do you want to be having children and taking care of kids at home? If so, then I would not recommend getting, you know, wasting $100,000 on degrees, on your master's and your PhD. I would not recommend that. Because it's going to take a lot more time. It's going to probably take you like 20 years to pay off that degree, or at least 15. And by the time you graduate with those things, you're going to be 25 plus years old. Well, you want to keep working until you're 40 something years old, and you want to start having kids when you're 40. That's not a good idea. If you really want to have children, you should try to have children when you're at least in your 30s. So, and for men, you know, at the same time, if you want to get married one day and you want to provide for a family, why would you want to spend a whole bunch of money on student loans if you're not even going to use the degree that you got? So this was a lesson that we learned, and I just want to share it with you so you think about, you know, the decision that you're going to make, because guess what? There are a lot of other ways to make money besides going to college. So I hope you make the right choice. Have a good day.